Dr. Uma is presently serving as Professor and Head, Department of Aquatic Animal Health Management, Dr. MGR Fisheries College and Research Institute, Pune. Madam is also in charge for the Professor and Head for State Referral Laboratory, Madaram Campus, TNJP Madaram. She has 25 years of experience in teaching, research and extension. She has developed a e-module for a fisheries course offered for the veterinarians in the VCA curriculum and extended technical guidance to about 50 students and has served as an expert in the doctoral committee of several research students. Our research expertise include fish health management, development of molecular and rapid diagnostic for diseases of commercial importance. Our significant contribution to the field of health management is the establishment of state referral laboratory for fish disease diagnosis and aquatic animal health with state-of-art facilities at our Madharam campus, Chennai. She has developed about 6 technology which include PCR diagnostic kits for shrimp diseases. She has two granted patents, 80 research papers in national and international journals to her credit. Madam is a recipient of Tamil Nadu Young Woman Scientist Award of Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology, Young Scientist Fellowship Award and K. Chidambaram Memorial Annual Award. Now I welcome Dr. Uma Madam to deliver a lecture on disease diagnosis and management in aqua farming. Please, Madam.
Speaking on the topic disease diagnosis and management in aqua farming. So the importance of disease has already been outlined by my earlier speakers, Kumlesan sir and also Ambashankar sir. And as I have mentioned, we have very many challenges that are faced by the aquaculture in the present day. So some of the important challenges that are being faced by this aquaculture industry includes lack of capital. Like many of the farmers are doing small scale operations. They don't have that much money to invest. So lack of capital is one of the challenges. And waste disposal. Very often we see that the waste disposal from the farms are very difficult, and many farms are being sealed by the local authorities for polluting the environment, polluting the groundwater supply and so on. And third one is a low market demand and also low market price. So this vanami, although we produce a lot of vanami, we are not able to sell because we don't have a good market price. That's why farmers are facing a lot of difficulties in selling off their produce. Then high cost of inputs. So Ambashankar sir, he clearly told that the feed cost for the shrimp or fish is much higher than our food. So that shows that how important this feed is. At the same time, the cost is so high, but it is not accessible to an ordinary farmer. So if he wants to make a profitable culture, then definitely he has to invest a lot of money for the inputs, not only feed, but also for other chemicals, antibiotics, and all the inputs that we use in this aquaculture operations are so expensive. So unless he gets a good market price, he will not be able to sustain the culture activities. And above all, the major challenge that we face in this aquaculture operation will be the diseases. Because we don't know when this disease will occur and how it will progress, whether it will cause mass mortality or we'll be able to save at least a minimum of our produce and so on. So of all the challenges that we see in the aquaculture operations, we could say that the most important one would be your disease. So before we go on to the diagnosis and also the management part, it is very essential to understand what a disease is. So what is a disease? So you need not think about the fishes in that context. Maybe you can take yourself as an example. So when do you say that you have a disease? If you are not normal, you cannot do your routine activities. Something is there in your change is there in your physiological activity. Then we call it as a disease. Like whether the disease is caused by one particular factor? No, sometimes one and sometimes more than one. And whether it affects only one organ, that also we cannot say conclusively. It affects one organ or more than one organ. Okay? So the disease could be caused by very many factors, and we'll be seeing the factors that are causing diseases in animals, aquatic animals. And again, we can categorize the diseases into two major categories. It's very essential to understand the basic difference and also the basic information about the diseases. So unless you know about diseases, you will not be in a position to diagnose them, and you will not be in a position to develop prevention and also treatment protocols. And the two major categories of diseases will be infectious and non-infectious diseases. So infectious diseases are the ones that are spread from one individual to the other. It could be a horizontal transmission from person to person contact, or it could be a vertical transmission from the mother to the offspring. And another one is the non-infectious diseases, which are not communicable. Like it will not spread from one individual to another. It is specific to one individual, and very often it is caused due to abnormal or sudden variations in the environment or poor nutrition and so on. Of course, these non-infectious diseases could be easily treated. Okay, like you can eat vitamin C or any other immunomodulator to improve your health so that you will come back to normalcy. And similarly, if you go to a good environment and live, and if your body and mind is being given good care, probably you can recover so fast from these non-infectious diseases. And like how we have World Health Organization for human beings, like during our COVID, we got lot of guidelines and recommendations from World Health Organization. And similarly, we have a division of WHO, which is called as World Organization for Animal Health. In that, we have a separate chapter for aquatic animals. So every 2 years, this WOAH, formerly it was called as OIE. So they will give the listing of diseases based on their importance, like whether it is going to cause commercial loss, whether it causes production loss, or world over, that is global, based on the global significance of these diseases, the diseases will be brought out or included in the list of WOAH. So these are some of the diseases that are being listed by the WOAH for finfishes. So some of these diseases have not been reported in India. That's because we are not growing salmon and trouts. Okay, so many of the diseases of commercial importance are mostly they are reported in salmons and trouts. So we'll be having a separate slides for the diseases that are reported in India. So these are the list of diseases that are pertaining to crustaceans, that to shrimp, because we know that shrimp is the most commercially important species in our context. So I've given the list of only the commercially important shrimp, that is Phineas vanavi mostly, and some would be applicable to Monodon also. And here also not many diseases have been reported, and some of the diseases which have been reported globally include WSSV, and then EHP is a parasitic disease, and bacterial diseases have not been brought out in this list because they could be easily treated. So what causes the disease? That is the next question. So we have a famous triad in which you have three triangles on the outer side, which are of equal size, and all these have equal contribution to bring about or in creating an onset of the disease. So the first one would be your environment, the second one is the host, that is the fish or the shrimp or whatever you culture in your aquatic system, and the third one is the pathogen. So if there is an imbalance between these two factors, definitely this would cause some imbalance in the host, and which will be manifested as a disease. So when we take any aquaculture system, what is the environment in the aquaculture system? Which is the environment in any aquaculture system? Pond is the environment. So what do you have here in your pond? A pond bottom will be there, and the water column in which you will be housing your shrimps or fishes. Okay. So whenever your pond bottom is spoiled, and if it is not having the optimum parameters, like in terms of physicochemical parameters, or if it is having lot of pathogens, then definitely that is going to interact with your water column. So your water will get spoiled. Once if your water is polluted, what would happen? The fishes and shrimps that are living in that water will also be affected. So it is like a vicious cycle. One is getting affected and the other will also get affected. If one is okay, then the other will also be in a moderate level. So the next one will be your host. Your host will be your fishes or shrimps. Okay, it could be a finfish or a shellfish. And what do you expect from the host to make it more susceptible or to be more resistant to disease? When they become more susceptible? When we will become more susceptible to diseases? So when we are not taking adequate nutrition, or when we are stressed due to travel, or when we are upset in our mind, all these would affect our health. So in order to manage them, we should give proper care on the health aspects of the host. So when your water is not having optimum water quality parameters, definitely your host will be under stress and make them more susceptible to diseases. At the same time, on the other hand, not only your host will be affected, the microbiota which is there in the pond system will also be affected, because now much attention is being given for gut microbiota of human beings. So they say that whenever your gut microbiota is disturbed, you become more depressed or you become more prone to diseases. So far we were not giving that much importance to microbiota, but the latest research shows that the disturbance in your microbiota, in your gut as well as in your environment, is going to influence a lot on your health status. So this again is a little more elaborate information on the previous slide. Like apart from this water quality physicochemical parameters, you can see that third one, it is unfed feed and other waste. And this was insisted by Ambassador sir, like whenever you give more feed than you actually require, what will happen? It will go and settle at the bottom. So this will be a very good medium for the growth of your microbes. And not all microbes will be beneficial to your organism that you culture. So most of the pathogens will proliferate in that, and the pathogens would directly attack your host, that is your fish, or they will produce toxins which are harmful to your fishes. There are two modes by which they will cause the diseases in your host. And similarly, there are also factors which are related to fishes, which will make them predisposed to the diseases. The best example would be your koi carp. So those who are culturing koi carp, that farmers, they should take extra care in preventing the diseases which are specific to koi carp. So you must be knowing what is the common disease that is infecting only koi carp. Koi sleepy disease, koi herpes virus. All these are specific to koi carp, common carp and their hybrids. So when they are taking up this koi carp culture, they should take extra care and also biosecurity measures to avoid the onset of these diseases. And the next one is age and life stage of the animals. That young ones, mostly eggs, larvae, they are more susceptible to diseases.